Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime Saturday night. Damian Nelson sitting here alongside David Hero for the very first show of 2013 here on January 5th. How was your New Year's, David?
My New Year's was absolutely tremendous.
That party with Charles Sprewell, that all,
you know
did
what?
You get that cleaned up?
I was gone before that even went down.
Were you really?
Yes.
Oh, wow. So you were on the senior citizens plan. You left at 3 o'clock since the arrest happened at 4.
Well, of course. I mean, I was out of your business cards, so might as well.
It's time to talk about the happenings in this past week in professional wrestling, and let's kick it off with this week's WWE report. This past Monday night on Raw, David Hero, we found out that the John Cena and Dolph Ziggler feud was full steam ahead, but steam is not used as a pun because there was a steaming pile of something left on top of Dolph Ziggler and AJ this past Monday night. Where was Big E Langston?
Well, Big E Langston was outside of the ring. He was the only guy.
Oh, he was protecting?
He was the only guy that was not wearing white that night when that steaminess came down from the rafters.
Cena, Ziggler. We talked about Cena's year last week. John Cena talked about Cena's year last Monday night, this past Monday night. Looks like we're going to take this into the Royal Rumble where John Cena has announced his participation. But how you feeling about this Ziggler, AJ, Langston versus Cena feud so far?
By watching the promo on Monday night where it was John Cena defending, not defending, him being the superstar of the year for 2012, the promo was fantastic. You could feel some realism, a little bit of heat, a little bit of snarkiness, if you will, between John Cena and Dolph Ziggler, where John Cena said, hey, I've been here for 10, you've been here for 7, you've been a caddy, you've been a cheerleader, you've been Dolph Ziggler, now you got AJ. They threw some fire on just something that was just simmering. Now it's a full-blown feud right now.
And of course, as you know, Dolph Ziggler is an endorsed talent, meaning he's one of the best in professional wrestling at this moment. Do you have a breathing problem?
I had to exhale for a second there.
Were you waiting to exhale?
No, not at all, because Stella already got her groove back.
Will Ziggler get yet another win over John Cena, or what happens after the Rumble? Maybe the end game here is probably Elimination Chamber.
You know what? John Cena, he spent the entire 2012 putting over the stars, the mid-card guys. He put over Dolph Ziggler. He put over Big Show, the champion CM Punk. He helped establish and elevate stars. 2013 is going to be the year of John Cena, starting at the Royal Rumble.
You got to wonder how much of a year Team 3MB is going to have, because they've been getting a hell of a lot of TV time. And keep in mind, they are led by the endorsed Heath Slater. Team Hell No selects them this past Monday night as their opponents in Raw's version of Open Fight Night, which I guess that they stole that from TNA too, right?
Wow. Right? It almost seemed like it.
Really? You're going to be that guy?
Well, no, there were similarities. Come on, you know.
How many YouTube usenames do you have?
Carry the 4,
I think you start fights with yourself on YouTube, don't you?
No, I don't. You know what? It's similar. And you know what? When was the last time you had two, I don't want to say rival companies because they're really not rivals, they're two opposite companies, but have storylines and ideas and gimmicks so similar?
Well, Team 3MB, a lot of time on SmackDown last week.
Do you call 3MB Shield Light?
Absolutely not. They're rock stars, David.
Because their
like album's going to drop very, very soon.
Oh, it's going to drop.
He's got that vocal issue that's going to get resolved.
Yes.
But more important than that, I guess, thanks for never answering the question, there's a brand new Intercontinental Champion this past Monday night on Raw. His name is Wade Barrett, and the barrage continued on the main event on Wednesday night. More on that in a minute. Wade Barrett, the new IC champ, David Hero.
Wade Barrett has been a guy that has had a ton of potential for quite a long while. Finally letting it show, letting it shine, defeating Kofi Kingston. Wade Barrett is a future WrestleMania headliner. And it may not be.
You've been saying this for 2 years, right?
No, I said about Sheamus a couple years ago.
No, you said about Wade Barrett.
Well, they're both WrestleMania headliners. Sheamus got there a little bit quicker, but Wade Barrett is a stud.
When did Sheamus headline WrestleMania?
He became the world champion, defeated Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania.
The opening match.
WrestleMania, still a headlining main event.
18 seconds.
Yes. He won in 18 seconds over your guy. But anyways, Wade Barrett is a bright
Daniel Bryan
young
become
star.
my guy?
He's always been your guy. You guys have that same beard thing going right now.
The WWE champion CM Punk. He is great on crutches, David Hero. I think this has enhanced his character. Not that it's, he's legitimately had surgery. It's legitimately unknown, at least up until earlier this week, whether or not he was going to be able to participate in Monday's matchup. But He's been champion for the entire 2012 calendar year. Do you know that that is the first time?
There's an asterisk.
How?
Because he didn't finish out the year.
You are
He was on crutches.
Disgustingly horrible.
How do you
really
figure?
are. Yes, he's on crutches.
Yeah.
Not since
He didn't defend it the entire
1987.
year.
25 years ago, has a single person held the WWE Championship
By default.
from January
He was hurt.
1st to December
He was
31st,
hurt.
and that
He couldn't
last
defend it.
person was Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, Hulk Hogan, the greatest of all time. You can't put.
Why do you hate the streak so much?
I don't hate
was
the streak.
hoping that you would be true to your New Year's resolution and you would sit here and try to have intelligent conversation
First
and
of
not
all-
just spin everybody right round like an arrow.
First of all, you know I give up my New Year's resolution every year for Lent, so it doesn't make one bit of difference. But here's the thing.
You have a little bit of lint on you there.
But CM Punk didn't finish the year. Yes, he was the champ. He had the belt for over 400 days. I think that's great, but he was a little bit short.
Thank you so much, Andy, for that countdown there, because I could not endure another moment? Of this spin and this hatred and this diatribe
It's
over
honesty.
the WWE
It's
champion.
honesty.
One day, will you commit to telling the people why you hate CM Punk
I
so
don't
much?
hate CM Punk.
Is it because of that combos thing?
No, not at all. No, hey, it is what it is.
Still to come, ladies and gentlemen, on the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime Saturday night, we take a look back at the 2012 wrestling audience in depth, along with trivia, star of the week, 3 count, and a challenge for our online audience regarding John Cena. Don't forget, brand new segment as well as we look at the greatest of all time when Primetime continues right after this brief timeout.
If you've been hurt in a car wreck, the insurance company may try to stop you from getting what's fair.
After my car wreck, the insurance company tried to stop me from getting what was fair. I called Gruber Law Offices.
Be careful. Call us right away.
They better be careful. Now I've got Gruber Law Offices.
Call us. Let us get started on your case right now.
They green-lighted my case and got me $100,000.
Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all. Call 276-6666.
Are you ready? Extreme Midget Wrestling is here. High flying, gravity defying, ready to slam, wham, and wrestle for their fans. You will not believe your eyes. Extreme Midget Wrestling. Extreme Midget Wrestling Federation, the baddest little show on earth.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Pro Wrestling Report, Primetime Saturday night. Are you going to go to that midget event on January 12th?
Of course, how can you not?
Turner Hall, great place.
It's going to be shenanigan-filled.
We'll hear more about that in the event center in just a few minutes. But before we get to that, David Hero, I am very intrigued to find out who is your very first star of the week for 2013.
2013 PWR Star of the Week is the guy that got his very first World Heavyweight title match on Monday Night Raw. He is the very capable Ricardo Rodriguez, showing some flashes of in-ring brilliance against the Big Show.
Flashes?
Flashes. I mean, you see that kick off the second rope? Absolutely tremendous. Ricardo
I see Cody
Rodriguez,
Rhodes do it every week.
The PWR 2013 Star of the Week.
A lot of people don't know he's a wrestler. Came up through FCW.
You know what? He's very talented in the ring, and if he gets the opportunity, I think the wrestling world will be surprised how good he really is.
Will he get that opportunity is the question.
Oh, there's no question. They're teasing it right now.
How so?
Well, they put him in the ring with the Big Show, the world's
That was
largest
funny haha
athlete.
stuff.
But it showed brilliance. It showed he can go.
Ricardo Rodriguez, this week's Star of the Week from
No
David
comment?
Hero.
You like that? See?
I'll go with it. I was
See?
there live, this past
I
Monday
know,
night.
I know,
The
I know.
taping in Washington, D.C. this past Saturday
You in
night.
the, wait. You in the nation's capital?
Yeah, had a meeting
So
with
were you a part of
John
all
and
that fiscal
Barack.
cliff talk and everything?
Yeah.
So you're the reason why it all got done?
Well, I won't take all the credit, but I did. We had good conversation. Okay.
Fantastic. Well, you know what? Thank you.
Speaking of good conversation, it's always great to hear from the cause. It's time to go to this week's event center, brought to you by Gruber Law Offices.
Happy New Year and welcome to the PWR Event Center, brought to you by Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all. I'm the Cause here to bring you the news on all the latest events coming to southeastern Wisconsin. In just a couple of weeks, there will be 2 huge events at Milwaukee's Turner Hall, starting with Extreme Midget Wrestling. That's January 12th at 8 p.m. And Ring of Honor returns to Milwaukee on Saturday, January 18th. Details on both events can be found at pabsttheater.org. Great Lakes Championship Wrestling returns to Cedarburg Sunday, January 20th with Twist of Fate, featuring WWE and TNA star Matt Hardy and the beautiful Rebby Sky. Get your tickets right now at blizzardbrawl.com, where tickets only start at just $10. They're going fast, so head over there right now. The buzz surrounding the next event has been spectacular, and you could be part of it. PWR presents Tales from the Ring, the Wrestling Summit. Mean Gene Okerlund, Jim Ross, and Jerry the King Lawler are coming to Milwaukee on Friday, February 22nd for the first time ever event featuring a detailed look at wrestling business from 3 WWE Hall of Famers. That's at the Northern Lights Theater at Potawatomi Casino. Tickets right now go on sale at Northern Lights Theater box office and Ticketmaster.com. Tickets for the summit are flying out the door, so get yours right now. Tickets are also on sale for the return of the WWE to the BMO Harris Bradley Center for the Road to WrestleMania. WWE brings the SmackDown crew to town March 10th, and tickets are available at Ticketmaster.com. That's it for this week's PWR Events Center. I'm the Cos, and we'll see you at the matches.
Good old JR. I'm going to get to share a stage with my idol, my mentor, the man who I have sought to be a percentage as good as all my life. It's coming to Milwaukee on February 22nd. Ticketmaster.com.
It's a huge
Great
event.
seats.
Tickets are selling very quickly. Meet and greet seats are available. And don't you dare miss this once-in-a-lifetime event.
Well, speaking of once in a lifetime, you know, the word greatest comes to mind, David Hero. You talk about JR, you talk about Mean Gene, you talk about Jerry Lawler.
All Hall of Famers, much like myself.
And in this special feature, we want to talk a little bit about the greatest. You know, for years, wrestling fans have debated who the greatest stars of all time should be. In this new feature on Primetime, we will take a look at who should be named the greatest in several categories, David, via the process of elimination, and we'll take the time to explain to you why.
Oh, they need that.
Our first category is going to be greatest manager of all time. What makes a great manager in professional wrestling? Well, the role has changed greatly over the years, ranging from those who were truly managing the day-to-day business affairs of their wrestlers to those who were simply paired with someone on the road. Regardless of their duties behind the scenes, the most important thing was what they brought as far as entertainment to us as fans. You know, David, there are so many great professional wrestling managers that come to mind, including Paul Heyman, Paul Ellering, Gary Hart, Arnold Skaaland, Jim Cornette,
General Skandar Akbar.
But there were few who actually drove business and put a tail in a seat every 18 inches, which is the only measuring stick in defining the greatest. We have a list of finalists, David Hero, a list of people who we are over the next several weeks going to look at individually and determine who is the greatest manager of all time. And those finalists are you ready for this?
Oh, I
are
can't
you
wait
ready?
to hear it. Absolutely.
The Mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart, J.J. Dillon, the manager of the Horsemen with that shoe, Bobby the Brain Heenan, and Captain Louis Albano.
The guy with the rubber bands in his face.
One of those
Lou.
four men, if not all four of them, at least for the purposes of right now, greatest wrestling managers of all time.
All greats at different
And that
aspects.
doesn't discount anybody else. And again, over the course of the next few weeks, we're going to explain to you individually. We're going to look at each of those people individually. And we're going to eliminate one each week. It's almost like a reality show, David Hero, and they're going to get the
We're going to
vote.
vote people off.
We will be voting people off this list, and you will help us. You can interact with the selection process by going to our Facebook page, right there, and voting and commenting each week and letting us know your thoughts as this progresses. One thing's for sure.
Wait, so they're voting them off, or we're voting them off?
The ultimate decision will be made by this guy.
Wow.
But the fans will play a role in the voting. And one thing's for sure, this is not going to satisfy everyone. But hopefully, just hopefully, our analysis will be thought-provoking, and your thoughts shared on our Facebook page will lead to great discussion. It all starts right here, next week on Primetime Television, David Hero. Albano, Dillon, Heenan, Hart. One of those men
Four
is going to
greats.
be deemed the
Four
greatest
greats.
wrestling manager of all time. And each, you could argue for different reasons, should be the winner.
I agree, absolutely.
That starts next week right here on the Pro Wrestling Report. Time to go in depth, though, David Hero. And, well, this one's interesting.
It's always interesting.
As 2012 is now back there and 2013 is now out there, there's a lot of week-to-week chatter in the internet wrestling community about the ever so important TV ratings for professional wrestling. While we have said on this program many times those weekly ratings do not matter.
You've said that.
Nearly
Not
as much
me.
as they used to. The same is not to be said for the annual ratings report. What do you mean? Ratings matter? Ratings do matter.
They do
The
matter.
rating that Raw gets every week matters. The rating that
Absolutely.
Impact gets every week matters.
Yes, it does.
The rating that SmackDown gets every week matters.
Absolutely.
The TV business is all about trends.
Really?
And while a program may show strong ratings one week and lower ratings the next week, what really matters at the end of the day is what the show is on against, what its competition is, and what its ratings are relative to its prior seasons or broadcasts. The 2012 ratings report is certainly not good news for any of the 3 wrestling shows broadcast each week. Are you ready for the numbers, David
I
Hero?
can't wait to
Are you
hear
ready to go to the tote, a la Jerry
Absolutely.
Lewis?
Yes, the
Are you
tote.
ready to go to the CNN projection?
Sure.
Which, twice in the last
Yes.
5 years has been pretty damned awesome.
Yes.
In 2012, WWE Raw saw its average weekly rating drop to a 3.01 from 3.21 in 2011.
That's a big number.
It's a huge number. It dropped from 3.28 to 3.21
And keep in mind,
from
they went
2010
3
to
hours
2011.
last year.
They went 3 hours mid-summer. We'll talk more about that in a moment. Early summer, rather. But in addition to going to 3 hours, they've also done so many special shows. And what has been consistent since Raw went to 3 hours is hour 1 strong, hour 2 strong, hour 3 the lowest rated hour of the broadcast.
Because people are exhausted. 2 hours is the attention span.
Do you know what I found interesting about Raw? Is when I sit down on Monday night after Seinfeld on TBS 6 and 6:30 to watch Raw, I say to myself, man, 3 hours ahead of me. I could be excited about Raw. I could be excited about anything. It's a chore to have to commit 3 hours of your Monday evening to WWE Raw. Now, at the same time, for 30 plus years, people have committed 3 hours plus to Monday Night Football every week.
It's different, though. That's completely different because it's a different market every week. But think about all the great movies, the Lords of the Rings, the
Titanic,
Batmans,
JFK.
all those 3-hour movies.
Have you seen Looper?
No, you don't want to watch that
Fantastic
every
movie.
week, do
I'd
you?
watch Looper every week.
You don't want to watch those every week. You want to watch it as a special event every once in a while.
Have you ever seen Casino?
Yes. But
The movie?
Yes, I've seen that. But like for me, Batman movie in our house, love it. I can't watch it all the time. It's way too long. Monday Night Raw, way too long.
WWE SmackDown has seen its weekly rating drop from 1.95 last year to a 1.89 average in 2012. SmackDown's been the most consistent of the 3 shows over the course of the last 3 years, as its dip from 2010 to 2011 was not substantial either. But in 2012, it remained the highest rated show on the Sci-Fi Network each week.
It's more of a trendy show to watch on Sci-Fi.
Over in TNA, though, Impact Wrestling has seen its ratings decrease from a 1.17 average in 2011 to a 1.01 average in 2012. Now, this, of course, after going live starting this past summer, David Hero. That could be the most telling of these numbers.
I think that the wrestling fans are burnt out after Raw. I think once they've got their 3-hour fill, they've had enough.
Well, this report may seem bleak for the overall wrestling business, but let's not forget that WWE just celebrated one of its best financial years ever.
Well, yeah, they had The Rock, they had WrestleMania, Miami, shenanigans.
Legendary, record-breaking WrestleMania. They're going to do it again. They're going to
So
do it
will we.
again.
So will we.
At WrestleMania 29, which already has set records, by the way, and it's practically sold out already, too. But anyways, that's a little bit of a summary of the numbers, I guess you could say, in professional wrestling. And again, I'm intrigued as to why you think wrestling ratings matter. However, we don't have time for your opinion right now.
Of course you don't.
We do have time for what's coming up next on the Pro Wrestling Report, which is this week's trivia question, 3-count, and we have a challenge for all of you watching us online.
An open
regarding
challenge?
John Cena. PrimeTime continues right after this brief timeout.
Wrestling fans, visit ROHWrestling.com today and experience the best pro wrestling on the planet. Join us live Saturday, January 19th at the Turner Hall Ballroom with a 7:30 p.m. bell time. You'll see ROH World Champion Kevin Steen take on Roderick Strong, Eddie Edwards and Michael Elgin in a Defy or Deny challenge. Jay Lethal teams with the Briscoes to battle Scum and Rhino, and the self-proclaimed icon Matt Hardy squares off with BJ Whitmer. Log on to ROHWrestling.com for all the details. Ring of Honor. This is wrestling.
Are you ready? Extreme Midget Wrestling is here. High fly, gravity defying, ready to slam, wham, and wrestle for their fans. You will not believe your eyes. Extreme Midget Wrestling. Extreme Midget Wrestling Federation, the baddest little show on earth.
Happy New Year and welcome to this week's PWR Trivia. I'm Rachel Robertson, your Trivia Diva. Now let's find out who won last week's trivia contest. Congratulations to last week's trivia winner. This week's question is, who did Booker T defeat in the finals of the 2006 King of the Ring?
All hail King Booker!
Know the answer? Be the first to send it to us via email to trivia@pwrshow.com and you will win a WWE DVD.
All hail King Booker!
Only viewers from the My24 Milwaukee viewing area will qualify for the PWR Trivia. Again, this week's question is, who did Booker T defeat in the finals for the 2006 King of the Ring? And we will announce next week's winner right here on Primetime.
Thank you, Rachel, the Trivia Diva, David Hero.
Ooh la la.
I like it. And let's go now to this week's 3 count. 3 stories, 2 minutes each. Let's start the clock on our first of 3 stories, and that is the matchup from this past Wednesday's main event, David Hero. We alluded to it earlier in the WWE report. Antonio Cesaro defending the United States Championship against the Great Khali. Let's first say this. Main event has remained steady as one of the most fun programs to watch in WWE each and every week, probably because what we talked about in the last segment. You know it's a 1-hour commitment you're making on a Wednesday night on ION from 7 to 8 Central Time. You're in, you're out, and they do so much to promote the matchup as the main event. They're doing a dang good thing on that broadcast, and they did a better thing as it pertained to Antonio Cesaro, who got the Great Khali up off his feet, which we haven't seen in a while, and beat him in that matchup.
Now, before everyone complains, talking about the Great Khali on Primetime, no, it's talking about Antonio Cesaro.
Punjabi prison match?
Who is one of the bright young stars on the Raw brand and SmackDown brand. He got the Great Khali in the neutralizer. Big victory elevates him to far bigger status.
The match given time, a little bit of a tease between Cesaro and The Miz as well going forward. Just a show that is so complete in its 1 hour and not fastly paced, not overly paced, where you get lost in it. It does enough. And how they start with, just like back in the days of NBC, the main event was the main event. The show started with that. Remember, one of the first events at the Bradley Center was the main event back in '89.
Yes, it was. The Twin Towers and the Mega Powers.
Kudos to Cesaro. You know, he's close to making a pretty elite list in this business.
Oh, really?
He's close.
I'm sure he is. He'll ruin his career.
How many Nelson family members have been on the injured reserve list this year in the draft? By the way, I'm still beating you by over 200 points.
Yeah, I guess half my team hasn't been wrestling.
I didn't pick him.
I know you didn't.
Why don't you get that Wicked kid back here? Maybe he can help you pick some more hacks.
He picked Kane. He's been solid.
Next story in this week's 3 count is a little bit of an explanation for some of our comments last week, as David Hero feels the need to explain himself to the those of you out there on YouTube.
Whoa, I don't have to explain myself to anybody.
You care a lot about our YouTube viewers. I focus on our viewers on My24 Milwaukee.
I care about everybody.
You're a YouTube shooter, aren't you?
No, I'm not a shooter.
I saw those videos, shower curtain behind you.
Shower curtain behind me? Shooting? That's awkward.
Here's the thing about John Cena, folks. We said last week he is the greatest superstar of 2012 in professional wrestling.
And I'm right.
He is the biggest star in professional wrestling right now. And I thought we had explained the reasons to you. There is not anyone in this business who made more money, sold more tickets, and sold more merchandise, and equaled more pay-per-view buys than John Cena.
Yep.
Those 4 things all that matters. Those 4 things are all that matters.
Hey, Ricky Steamboat and Ric Flair were far better wrestlers, in-ring performers than Hulk Hogan, but nobody sold more T-shirts and merchandise.
Here's the question. We said we have a challenge. And again, that's simply our opinion, backed up with a little bit of facts.
Whoa,
But we have a
the
challenge.
truth.
I'm being diplomatic here. I learned a lot in
I'm
D.C.
being
last
honest.
weekend, all right?
I'm sure.
Here's the challenge that we have for you folks is I want you all to use the comment section here on YouTube to answer a question. All right?
Oh, God.
Because this is really, it was a moment that was a moment of realization for me. That question is this, and again, share your comments down yonder there. WrestleMania 3, biggest WrestleMania of all time, 93,000 people, an attendance record that was broken by the Pope. The Papa Pope.
Yeah, not that Pope.
What was the greatest match on that card? What sold that pay-per-view? What was the match of that pay-per-view event at WrestleMania 3? Shut up. At WrestleMania 3. I want to hear your comments, your thoughts, and potentially maybe your reasons why. And next week, right here on this very program,
Oh, goodness.
we will discuss your comments and we'll look at why John Cena is that guy. Why Sheamus isn't, why Orton isn't, why CM Punk isn't, why Triple H isn't, why Daniel Bryan isn't. We'll do it via your YouTube comments. That's part 2, David Hero. But part 3, here in the 3 count, is a big return this past Thursday on Impact.
TNA Impact Wrestling, the big return, 1-3-13.
Let me say this, all right? Yeah.
13-13. I thought it was going to be Taz. Wasn't Taz 13?
He didn't leave.
He never left.
How long was Sting gone?
Month and a half, maybe.
How's he returning?
Well, he's
And no back to old paint and all that. He's not Joker anymore. But
he's healed. He's doing much better. He's back.
Did he
Sting
leave?
is back. Sting is back to save TNA Impact Wrestling from the aces and eights.
a lot of people saying this
you know
was
what?
lame. This was.
It wasn't what the fans wanted. And you know what? I don't know if it's what TNA Impact Wrestling really wanted, but it's the direction that they're in right now.
How does The Undertaker get away with it week after, or year after year? He does a big, huge return.
Completely different.
Because he's gone longer than a month?
Well, because Undertaker does it once a year, not twice a year or 3 times a year the way Sting does it.
Will it move the needle in TNA Impact Wrestling, especially knowing what they got a pretty big arena to fill on in April.
They got
for
the
lockdown.
Alamodome for
March.
lockdown. March.
April.
No, is it April?
It's in the first quarter.
Well, you know what?
And let's clear that up too. By the way, they're using a portion of the configuration of the Alamo Dome, which is used by basketball games. It's used by Ultimate
Royal
Fighting
Rumble
has been
when
there.
Shawn Michaels won.
Well, they used the whole building. They didn't sell it out either, by the way, but they had 70,000 people there. Sorry, your point.
You know, it's going to be interesting. Hopefully, they bring other young stars around Sting to battle aces and eights. It just can't be Sting and Hogan versus aces and eights.
And also next week, right here on this very
let's
program.
not forget, The Rock is back on Raw Monday night.
He is indeed.
Yes, big show Monday.
For that one, this is Damian Nelson saying thank you so much for tuning in here to the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime Saturday night.